Hey there. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. I'll say that again. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast. Oh, yep, with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. Now it's time for the Big Bad Broadcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now to welcome you to Bitchin Baby Boomers.
Hey, good evening or good afternoon, Bitchin Baby Boomer Nation. Third time is a charm. So I just want to say, first of all, New York Islanders beat the Penguins. So that's good. That's good. Anytime you beat a Penguin, it's good in my book.
That's right.
So anyway, we're in such a good mood. We got so much to celebrate. We really do. We have 1,000 views last week on the Bobby Collins show. We have over 1,500 people on our Bitchin Boomer Facebook army.
Oh, yeah. Something
and
like
the
that.
big announcement is coming in a couple of weeks. We have Graham Nash from Crosby, Stills, and Nash is going to be our guest.
Yeah, baby.
Personal friend of mine.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sure.
and Joe knows him too really well.
Yeah.
And anyway, so we got a great show for you. But first, you got to meet the Long Island Clown College. We got Mike Grief.
Yeah, hey, you want to boom with me?
We got Silkie.
Boom, boom, boom.
And we got Craig Mitchell.
Boom, boom, boom. Come on up to my room.
No thanks. So,
I'm trying to quit, Craig. Trying to quit.
So anyway, I just got to tell you, I'm in such a good mood, and I'm in a good mood because my aunt, who is 86 years old, who had COVID really bad and got out of the hospital and survived, and she was a big news story on Long Island, and she had her house painted, and she called my cousin and said, "You got to come over right away. My Alexa isn't working." And she uses the Alexa for everything, for the important stuff, time, date, weather. It's like that thing answers when her husband doesn't. So she calls my cousin. She goes, "Something terrible happened to my Alexa." And he goes, "I never really heard of anything happen in bed." She goes, "No, it's terrible. When I plug it in, it gets red hot." And he goes, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "If you put your hand on it, you almost burn yourself." And he was like, "What are you talking about?" So he goes, "Unplug it. Now plug it back in the wall." So she goes, "No, it's okay. No, it's getting hot. It's getting really hot." He goes, "Unplug it. Something's shorting out. I'll be right over." So he drives about 30 minutes to her house. He gets in. He goes, "Show me exactly what you did." She plugs it in. She goes, "Look, it's getting hot. It's getting hot." He goes, "It's a coffee cup warmer you've been talking to."
Oh, my God. Oh, man. You know what? My mother talks to her toaster, but I think she knows it's the toaster, you know?
It was really sweet because it's the Alexa's black and the thing was white. Who could have made the mistake?
Yeah, well,
I speak to my microwave. I'm like, hurry! Okay.
Yeah. Did she cook any eggs? Did she cook any eggs on her Alexa?
No, she probably has. She can't use the Alexa anymore because it's got coffee stains all over it.
I have that.
My mother once was going to Dunkin' Donuts, so she pulled in through the drive-thru, and she's waiting online, and there's a lot of cars there. It's real busy, and so she gets up there, and the woman says, "Can I help you?" And she says, "Yeah, I'll have she gives her her order, like coffee and donuts and everything, and the woman goes, "I'm sorry, miss, but this is the bank. Dunkin' Donuts is next door, and they don't have a takeout window."
She was trying to figure out how they put the coffee and the donuts in that little tube.
Tell her next time just go where all the cop cars are.
Did she get her deposit to the Dunkin' Donuts? I mean,
crazy stuff. You can find any interesting stories, Mike?
yeah, it's. Did you hear about that thing in Australia? This guy is with his brother and his nephew, his son and his nephew and his whatever, and they're fishing.
His family.
And, his family. He was fishing with his family. Anyway, it was I just saw it. It was an odd story, so it made me want to bring it up. He's fishing, and a great white shark jumped in the boat and grabbed the kid. The guy actually jumped in and he started punching the shark, and it let the kid go. But I mean, can you believe it? The shark jumped in the boat and grabbed the kid. It's like insane. I mean,
yeah,
the kid was probably personally.
The kid was dressed like a seal.
They were dragging him as bait. It's like
his name was Chum.
That's a pretty brave guy to jump in after a white shark.
I'd start over. I'd let the shark have him. I wouldn't. I'd be like, I'll make another kid.
Maybe sharks saw Happy Days where Fonzie jumped the shark and the shark said, "Screw it, I'll just jump a kid."
They said they were fishing. I read the story. They were fishing for loggerhead, which I don't know what that is. Sounds like a beer.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that explains a lot. Maybe there was no shark actually.
You'd think they would have known to start the boat when they heard.
Instead of Jaws, it was Coors.
Did you read anything, Craig? You got any stories for us this week?
I'm also down under. I read this story about this 111-year-old guy, 111 years, and everybody's asking him his secret. So this guy is very casual saying chicken brains. Eat chicken brains. Everybody in Australia who wants to live longer is eating chicken brains. And I'm thinking, no, but here's the thing.
That's what the shark did.
Years old.
The shark tried to eat chicken brains.
I would personally try to fuck with everybody if I was 111. It's like, what's your secret to being old? You have to eat crankcase oil. That's what you got to do.
I like peeing in public, and it makes you live longer. You'll live to be 100.
Yeah,
Chick-fil-A. That's what you got to do.
Chickens are very sacred in Texas. My son said to me, I got to take you to the most redneck thing you've ever seen in years. And I go, what is it? He goes, I can't even explain it to you. You have to see it. So we get to this place. There's a whole bunch of guys in cowboy hats, and it looks like the rodeo's in town. And there's a table, I would say maybe 6 feet by 8 feet with chicken wire over it. And it's divided into numbers, like probably 60 numbers. And people are betting numbers, like as if you're betting like roulette. And then all of a sudden the guy goes, are you ready? And they take the chicken and they put it into the thing, and they throw some chicken seed down. The chicken walks around eating the chicken seed. And they're going, I think it's going to happen now. And as soon as the chicken shits on your number, you win the money. and they go crazy. And I go, what is this called? And my son goes, chicken shit bingo.
God, somebody opened a casino in Texas. What the hell is wrong with you? I'm going to wait until the chicken shits on my bingo card.
And let me tell you, I was at one, and, you kind of get into it. I'm telling you, you do. You kind of get into it. And this chicken, man, he must have walked around that thing for 20 minutes before he took a dump. And people were like, this is suspenseful.
Yeah,
oh man!
I hope
you guys ever go to Chinatown in New York City? They had that arcade, and there was a tap dancing chicken. You'd go to the booth, and you put your money in. It was like 50 cents because it's live entertainment. And
this, Joe?
This isn't that long ago. This is 10 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, like 15, 20. But anyway, you put the money in. And this chicken would come out, walk in the thing, and it was like all plexiglass. He'd walk over to a little jukebox, and he'd peck at it, and the song would start playing, and then he'd like dance around, and then the buzzer would go off, and he'd go into his dressing room, which you could see into, and he would eat his food.
To pick up chicks. and they found out the reason why he was dancing is because as soon as he picked that last number, the floor became electrified and he was getting shocked. So he'd be dancing around like that. I think PETA probably put a stop to that one.
Yeah, they should.
Or at the end of the night, you had fried chicken.
It's crazy.
Joe and I know this magician at the Magic Castle. He does this cups and ball routine where he makes the ball jump back and forth. And at the end, he lifts up the cup and there's a little live chick. He picks up the next cup, there's another little chick. Picks up the other one, there's a live chick. Puts him down, picks him up, another live chick, another live chick. He's got all these little live chicks walking around the table. He's really going, oh, that's so cute. Then he picks up a Kentucky Fried Chicken box and puts them all away.
Always keep a snack with you.
And just so we don't get in trouble with like animal rights people, he then takes them back, to the place where he like rents the chickens. So they do the show, and they become famous. And then they go back.
The chicken. Didn't Robert Downey Jr. do that years ago when he was still drinking? He'd rent the chicken. I think those chickens were dancing too, but for a different reason,
Well, we had an interview earlier today with a very special guest, and his manager put all sorts of controls on it, and so we were only allowed to show certain segments of the interview because I guess he's a legend in his own mind. So I think they think he's more famous than he is. So we were going to present him as like a whole main thing guest, but apparently we had some problems with his manager. So we have some segments we recorded. He only let us release certain segments, but our own research department,
right?
Joe's research.
Eunice was doing the research for us.
And let me interrupt you. For anyone who doesn't know who Eunice is, that's Joe's imaginary friend.
She's not imaginary.
Wait. Imaginary, Joe. You said you were going to hook me up with her.
Yeah, I mean, soon as she.
Who's this then, Joe? Who's this?
Oh, that's Eunice's mother. See, she was Miss Mailroom 1961 for Paramount Studios, and there she is, claiming her prize on top of a mound of mail. So, like, research and stuff is in Eunice's blood, really.
She got letters in her veins.
All those letters were for chicken shit bingo.
But anyway, I like to make fun of Joe's friend Eunice only because I've never met her. And, all of a sudden she just came on board when she was a member of the Mind Reading Institute or something.
That's right.
So anyway, we don't really know if she's real or not, but we'll take Joe's word. But she did do a lot of research, or Joe did it. We don't really know. And, but anyway, we have a lot of research, and she found a lot of stuff, right, Joe?
Yeah. I mean, Lane's Merge was the artist. I mean, before Prince, he was like, he was before anybody. He was the trendsetter. And I remember as a kid going to the Westbury Music Fair and seeing him, and the opening act for him was The Temptations. Yeah. And it was just an amazing show.
Well, we had this picture.
And, he was friends with Chuck Berry.
Wow.
And is he in a wheelchair?
That might have been when he broke his foot that time.
That was just after he did the chicken dance, the electrified chicken dance.
I think Evel Knievel ran over his foot or something like that at one of his shows. But Chuck Berry, they say the song "My Ding-a-Ling" is actually written about Lane's ding-a-ling that he's singing about. Really?
They must have been close. Wow.
Yeah.
No wonder the manager didn't want us. Well, all you guys don't really have a personal story where you worked with him. I do. Really? I got to work with him once. It was in his later years, but he was still brilliant. I mean, people say he's brilliant. And it was a pretty amazing story. I did my set, and right before I was going on, I go, "How do you want me to bring you up?" And he said, "Just bring me up as the worm comedian." And I said, "What the hell is the worm comedian?" He goes, You'll see. So I go, "Ladies and gentlemen, and now I present you the worm comedian." And it took him probably every bit of 5 minutes to slither up onto the stage, where he just
It's
lied
like 140.
He just no. I mean, it's like 5 minutes for you people. Sometime 5 minutes is a long time in show business. Look at your watch for 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
It's an eternity.
Yeah.
So it's an empty stage for 5 minutes, and he gets up there, and now people are curious. Okay, something's going to happen, and then he just lied there for another 3 minutes. And the guy in the audience in the front went, "The hell are you going to say something?" And he just looked and went, "Worms don't talk." and it was like, then he went, "Thank you." Really? The guy went, is that all you're going to do? And he goes, "Yes." He goes, "Unless you have a knife and you can cut me in half, because then there'd be 2 worms." And then he stood up, he curtsied, he said, "Thank you," and he walked off, and that was the end of his set.
I think I probably would have cut him in half.
Yeah.
Legendary guy.
Yeah,
I mean, he was so big that the Beatles opened for him. There he is.
And Charles Manson.
No, that's the Maharishi.
Is that
when they were doing the transcendental meditation? And they were his opening act. But the problem was that, the Beatles always would sing, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And well, Lane's is like, "No, no, no." So they had this big fight, and I don't think he spoke with them ever again.
I think it's very weird that he brought them a bouquet of salami with the Maharishi behind them. Because they don't eat meat. They don't eat meat. John Lennon's going, "Oh no, what are we going to do now?"
Paul looked like he has a crush on him, though.
No, but did you know that he has a groupie? Lanes has a groupie. Here he is.
Oh, there you go.
Wow. I think that guy's in Congress.
Those merge signs are amazing. You see them all over the place, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he told me. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, good.
He told me that his greatest thrill about being who he is when he comes back from New York and he sees his name up in lights. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, Lane's merch.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, it is a big deal. Usually I have to go to the post office to see my name, but here, right there up in lights.
Was that the concert at Yankee Stadium?
Garden too, right? Oh, yeah, there he is.
Yeah, no, actually I was supposed to go. I wanted to go see that concert, but my old man would only give me money for one. He, said, and there was another concert playing, and it was the other group called Failure to Yield. So I saw Failure to Yield that year, and I missed the Lanes. But I saw Lanes another year. I think he played again in '73, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was there. And he's so modest. When you talked to him about this, he said it wasn't the Madison Square Garden. He had a friend named Madison that had a square garden, and he performed for one person. And it was in New York City, and he said the guy made him a poster so he wouldn't feel bad. But I think that's like a Lane story.
Oh, yeah, he's always joking about stuff like that. I mean, he's the quintessential guy.
When your lanes merge, you can do that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey,
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I remember staying up late, I remember, you had to be, I think I was 10, 12 years old. And, you had to be in bed by 9 o'clock, but the Tonight Show didn't come on until 11:30. The comic or the singer didn't come on until 12. I used to sneak out. I was going to see Farrah Fawcett, but I remember Lanes was on the show that night with Farrah Fawcett, and he's doing his thing, and I laughed, and then my father beat the living shit out of me for being up. So that's my first Lanes merged memory.
Yeah,
And the Tonight Show, they used to have those bumpers in between the commercials, and this is This is actually from that.
Wow.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. They put that there.
Yeah,
that's
even the Tonight Show got rid of those bumpers. The Tonight Show decided their bumpers were just, it just broke up the show. They didn't.
I was gonna tell you that. That's what I was gonna say. I thought that was a backstage pass.
Was he ever on the Merge Griffin show?
Oh no!
Never in lanes, trains, and automobiles.
Well, I bet you people at home are dying to see this. I bet you're as excited about seeing this as we're all pretending to be.
My nipples are hard.
That's
So
it.
without any further ado, our interview with Mr. Merge. Let's bring him on. Ladies and gentlemen, and my good friends, the Boomers, Lane's Merge.
Oh my!
Well, you've had a pretty amazing career, I hear.
That is correct. Yes, I first started out as, as a youngster. My original name was, so I had to change it to Lance Merge. That's not my real name.
What is your real name?
Lance Boyle. And you can imagine how ridiculous that is. So I couldn't.
Good move changing it.
Yeah.
I'd have to exit off that one pretty quick.
Where did you get your start on Long Island?
I started at my father's place in Plainview.
In
Not
Roslyn.
My father's, the place where my father bought the house that I lived in. My father's place. I am a singer, dancer, actor. I was in Rider PI. I think you know that.
I was in that too. You have a thing on eBay, which is pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
There you go.
Lane's Merge early days, black and white photographs, sharp details, $9,000.99. Looking for a
I
bid.
did the 99 cents.
Well, we were going to make a stamp out of that. Actually, the United States.
Wow, I mean that's and Merv Griffin. I remember watching you on Merv Griffin as a kid.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember I got a great Lane's Merge story. I mean, this was many years ago in Vegas, and I'm sure you don't remember it, but I was over getting thrown out of the Mirage. And this was a long time ago. This was Siegfried. Actually, it's before Siegfried had Roy. It was Siegfried and Bob. That's how old it was. Well, I walk into this little place, and then you're on the stage. It's just you and there's a couple of women of the night, and I saw you, and I said, "Geez, I really want to be an entertainer," and you told me I should kill myself.
Well, I didn't quite put it that way. I didn't say kill yourself. I said, why don't you take a knife and stab yourself in the neck?
Oh.
And just to let you know, Joe, I used to do tricks, Mr. Silkie.
Wow.
Yes, just to pay for food and pay the rent.
Do you do any mentalism?
I do. I do.
Wow. I never knew.
Okay, now let me ask you. Let me ask. This is specifically for Joe.
Okay.
Okay. Now think about this and let your mind feel clear and stuff, so that you are clear and you are ready. You understand only my voice.
Okay.
How many Joe Silkies does it take to screw in a light bulb?
I don't know how many.
Yes.
3.
Right.
Wow.
That was great.
Why did Joe Silkie cross the road?
I don't know.
He was stapled to the chicken.
So what is a typical day in Lane's Merge's life?
I just demand, peacefulness. Oh, hold on. What? Shut up!
All right, let's get out of here.
Shut up!
Okay, anyway, that's I'm kind of speechless. Our control room never usually screws up like that.
That's why there's only one Lane's Merge.
And only one Eunice.
Yeah, right.
I feel bad after all the work that Eunice did too.
He tried to lick the camera?
That's probably what happened. The camera.
Probably had a 9-volt on it. In the old days, you used to lick the 9-volt battery to see if it was still good.
I hear he needs that for his pacemaker, so maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have to fill a little time here. So I have a couple of interesting things I'd like to tell you.
Good.
As a hobby, I live in Florida, and there's a thing called Florida. Yeah, there's a thing called Florida Man, and it's any day of the week. There's a thing called Florida Man. You can look it up on the internet. Any day of the week, you can find something stupid that somebody did in Florida. So that kind of segued me into finding these things about stupid criminal tricks and tricks. Stories.
They're for
stories.
kids.
Easy for me
Tricks
to
are for
say.
kids.
Okay, so I'm just going to kind of read these from these news stories, and I think they lend themselves. A would-be robber walked into a 7-Eleven that was privately owned, took out a big black pistol, pointed it in the owner's face, who was about 65 years old. He said, "I want all the money," and he dragged her in the back room where he made her open the safe. As she was opening up the safe and filling the bag with money, he goes, "And the change," and she was putting rolls of quarters in a bag. He started to chuckle. He took the gun, and he shot it at her once and shot it into his mouth, and it was a fake water gun with Kool-Aid in it. The woman was so mad she got up and almost beat him to death with the bag of coins. She knocked him unconscious until the police arrived.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh my
Don't
God.
ever change.
Okay, this is another. You talk about stupid. This is one of my favorite stupid ones. A robber walked into a bank in Mesa, California, and went up to the teller and pointed his bare finger at her and said, "This is a stick-up." He realized when he looked down that he forgot to put his hand in his pocket. The bank teller looked at him and went, "Go away." And he just stood there with his finger pointed and just was like, "This is crazy." And they just ignored him. So they didn't call the police because there was really no crime, and he left. And he got
probably
so
did the
mad.
same thing with his girlfriend.
He got so mad. He went into another bank and wrote out, "This is a stick-up, and I want all the money," and had his hand in his pocket this time. And they started filling up the money. They gave him a bag full of money. He went out the door, and when she turned over the stick-up note, she realized he wrote it on his parole card. with his picture, his phone number, and his address. He didn't even get up the block when they arrested him. And, oh, my God. It's just, these people are just, oh, this one you'll love, Joe, because you're kind of a tech guy. 2 robbers ran into problems when they tried to break into a grocery store safe at Loch Barrens, Massachusetts. Think they could use the laser that they stole from the laser tag place that afternoon to laser their way through the safe. 2.5 hours later, when nothing happened and the silent alarm went off, they were arrested.
Oh, that's great.
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours sitting there going, "Yeah, I think it's working."
Yeah.
I think it's working. The orange juice is $2.99. Look at that.
Can you imagine that?
Batteries. Oh,
Laser
my God.
tag, and you think that's going to... What do you think? Laser tag game, you actually burn the other person with a real laser? Oh,
my-
God. Those kill me. They just kill me. People are
man,
just, yeah.
That's something else. I'll tell you, man. I'm just, I'm worn. I'm a bachelor for a couple of days. I don't know if I told you, my wife is visiting her friend. Have you guys? I don't know. You guys are in relationships. Have you noticed the second my wife is at it, I'm like reverting to like being a Neanderthal. It's like, I'm serious. First of all, I do on everything that she hates. I'm doing on purpose. She's one of those people. You ever hear that when you chew, like it drives somebody crazy?
Right.
It's like I can't even eat around her because so like now I'm just eating, I'm chewing, I'm doing. There's dishes everywhere. I just don't. It's like everything that men do, we do basically to please women. I mean, God knows I'd never wear cologne. You know, I sure wouldn't shower. I mean, think of the money I'd save on toilet paper. I mean, really, it's like it's all just to impress women. And it's you know, there's only one thing that women are responsible, I think, for the progress of men. Because that's the only reason for me anyway, it's the only reason I do stuff is to, be okay for women. The only thing that I think that a man came up with was indoor plumbing. And you know that he probably, And you know that he probably got a fight from a woman because a woman was probably like, "What are you talking about? You want to shit in the house? No, that's not happening. That's not happening. You're gonna pee. You got to go pee outside and shit outside like every other guy. You know, it's just amazing to me, man. It's like I'm enjoying a little bit of free. I miss her. You know what I mean? But I'm enjoying my time alone. And of course, you know, at the last second, I'm gonna have to scramble and like scrub the whole house and. You know.
Yeah, Ray Romano told me once, he goes, I go, how's it going? You've been married a long time. He goes, let me tell you, John, you get those little signs, you know, the signs from your wife, you know, when she looks at you and goes, Ray, I hate the way you breathe. It's those little telltale signs.
Oh my God! It's the truth too.
It is.
You know, I don't know. Listen, I enjoy. You know, it's like it's a weird thing. You get so used to it, but I mean, I'm used to. Also, like I said, it's like when I'm alone, I revert immediately just to being an animal. You know, I'm telling you, and the dog, you know, I got the dog. He's out right. It's like, you know, normally she like feeds him, and he's a little dog. He only gets this much. He's gonna be like 400 pounds when she gets him. I'm like, did you remember to feed him? I'm like, yeah, I threw freaking 10 pounds of hamburger over there.
Yeah, you know, it's bad when your wife goes away. And you come back to the dog. When she walks in the dog looks at you and goes, I thought she wasn't coming back. We were having fun. I
thought it was just us. You know, what's she doing back? You know, okay.
I'll tell you, I'm happy here.
Oh, man. Crazy stuff.
Did you guys ever hear the story about the guy? This is true. I heard it on the radio. This guy stole a jet engine and put it into his crappy car.
What?
Yeah. So he strapped it to how he did it. I don't know. But he started it, and he's driving, and all of a sudden he flicks, you know, the jet power on, and all of a sudden the car just takes off so fast that he hits the side of a mountain, and the car's just like totaled. But they said his legs were broken from like standing up trying to stop the brakes.
I thought he was in the Flintstones for a minute.
Yeah. Is his name Wile E. Coyote?
I did remember reading that. Oh God,
that's a real story, huh?
Yeah, it's a real story. You know. I mean, what could go wrong by putting a jet engine in your Yugo?
Nothing.
I know, really. Yugo. You know, they have that Yugo with turbo. It's called. You got to press that button that says air conditioner off.
Wasn't it somebody said that's why Yugos come with rear windshield defrosters? So your hands get cold when you're pushing it in the winter?
My friend had a Yugo. He came to a speed bump, so he junked it.
I heard about it. I heard about a Yugo having a really serious accident. It was destroyed. It hit an empty Marlboro box.
So I have an old Triumph, a 1972 Triumph TR6. I belong to this car club, and I know these other guys that have Triumphs, but there are no Triumph clubs. There's an MG club. So they let the four of us in. You know, it was a big deal, like, oh, they drive Triumphs, but, you know, we'll let them in our club. So my buddy shows up at the first meeting with a T-shirt that says, I'd rather push a Triumph than drive an MG. Oh, God.
Oh, man.
I'm glad you guys are on cars. You're talking about cars because I had some trivia that I thought Lanes was going to be here, but some trivia about cars from our youth. You want to see any of that?
Yeah.
All right. Absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna put up some pictures and let's see if you guys can remember it. This is all from like the 60s and 70s. Saturday morning cartoons, you know, sitting there having the cereal, that thing. All right. So can you identify this one?
Yeah, that's the Scooby-Doo mobile, right? I don't know the name of it.
The guy does look like Shaggy, but it's not the Scooby-Doo mobile.
Wow. Oh, wait. Love Buggy? No.
Yeah, it's definitely Dune Buggy.
Yep. You're close. You're right there. Joe, you don't know?
No
Not
idea.
the love bug.
Well, it's Speed Buggy.
Speed buggy.
Yeah, and he was.
Oh, look at that. The lights are
Because he had-
eyes. And it's got a smile
he had
on his face on the car.
Because he had a speed problem. That's why. Because that thing didn't move fast.
That's why his eyes look. That's why his eyes look like that.
That's right.
Well, did the car talk?
Yes, it was done. Actually, it was voiced by Mel Blanc.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
Speed Buggy.
Wow.
And then, now this is going into the 60s. I love this show.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
Wacky Racers.
Wacky
Yeah, I remember
Racers.
that.
Rick Hastily, right?
Yeah, with that Dick Cassidy, Muttley, and Penelope
It is
Pitstop.
I.
Penelope
And, wait,
Pitstop,
what's his
yeah.
name? It is
Well,
I,
wait.
Dudley Doodite, the County Mountie.
Oh, yeah.
wasn't he one of them?
That was Paul
You
Mitchell's the same voice.
You do good voices, Mike.
He does.
Well, then what voice was it? I said somebody was going to do underdog.
When
There-
Polly's in trouble, I am not slow. It's hip, 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 and the way I go.
Yeah, that's really good. All right, now this is a slam dunk, right?
Speed
Oh,
Racer.
Racer.
Big race.
And let me tell you something. I have a guy who lives around the block. I will go take a picture tomorrow for next week that rebuilt that car.
No.
Parked in front of his store. It's got the big fin on the back of it. It looks
Dude.
like an airplane, and he has that car. I think
Wow.
it was like an old Corvette and extended
That's like-
it. And
When I was a kid, that was it. I wanted the Mach 5. I wanted to see my car jump over, with the jacks and you jump.
that's the only reason why I knew that right away from that picture, because there's one around my block.
Okay, this is the last one. This is possibly the sickest cartoon to ever air on Saturday morning. This is about a teenager, who had an accident in a garage and got spilled with some stuff. And whenever he has a temperature of over 98.6, he turns into Turbo Teen. He turns into
Right. Okay.
and his face would turn into the grill. He'd be like, no, and he would just turn into the car, and his friends would get in him, and he'd ride in on adventures.
Okay. Right.
Wow.
Okay.
Is that a long-running show?
No.
I don't know.
And what
but
was-
go ahead, Mike.
He had a windshield wiper on his teeth to get the bugs out.
Well, no, this is mid-change. His face will become the grill in the headlights. That's what happens.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh.
And if he
Who
goes,
was smoking what when they thought of this? Come on, man.
dude,
Yeah.
I was 17 when this was on. I was always smoking when I was watching that. Wait, he's going to become the car. What? Yeah. Anyway, that's-
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. I only had 4 of them because I thought Lane's
Okay.
next door.
So I have to tell you, there was a show in England when the kids were growing up called Captain Pugwash. And Captain Pugwash had a crew on his pirate ship. One of the guys' name was Roger the Cabin Boy.
It doesn't sound
Okay.
too.
And the other guy's name was Seaman Staines.
Okay.
And this was a real, I swear to God, this is a real show. And anyone from England that's watching knows this is the truth. And-
Bill Clinton was a big fan of that show. Seeing Stains.
And yeah, and that's how they got away with like parents watching the show with their kids, because the parents would just laugh. And there was a lot of it. Yeah, it was Captain Pugwash and Roger the Cabin Boy and Seaman Staines.
Okay.
I there's so many things I could say, but I
Yeah.
choose not to out of decency.
Yeah.
You gotta get rid of that.
Peter Rabbit.
Sponsored by Tide. Sponsored by Tide detergent. It seems.
Tide is like kind of a play on words. Tide. Craig, you got to get rid of that Mets thing behind you. Every time I talk to you, I feel like I'm talking to Saint Craig. Like you fell off a holy picture.
Well, wait,
Not with the Mets.
I can actually do that for you right now. Hold on. Let's see. There we go.
Hey,
How's that
yeah.
better?
There you go.
Yeah.
I got a little island of love up there.
Well, okay, hold on.
Well, I got something, and every week I don't want to disappoint your girlfriend. Let me know when
I
you want
know.
to hear,
She
'cause
waits every week. She waits every
I
week
got-
for your
well,
song
you know,
or your poem.
No, well, I got in addition to the Mike Grief greeting card line.
Yeah.
Because as you guys know, the graduation was just a couple days ago. The class of was it 2021? Obviously,
Yeah.
they
Right.
graduated. So I wrote a graduation card for my son. It says, "Dear son, congratulations on your graduation from solitary confinement. You'll always be my son, and I'm proud of you for being the first white-collar criminal in our family.
Wow.
I know Grandpa is smiling on us today from maximum security. Congratulations. See you in 3 to 5. Love, Dad."
Congratulations.
Oh, man.
That's awesome.
Man.
I think we had some fun today. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Lane's is
And-
amazing.
So we have to think he's legendary. So we have to thank Lane's Merge for being part of our show, whatever
Thank
part
you,
his
Lane.
manager released to us. And we have to thank the amazing Mike Grief, the mind reader Joe Silkie, and Craig Mitchell, our all-around guy who a lot of people you don't know does everything on the show. He runs the show. He's a social media guru. And we owe everything to him. Whenever something's wrong, we send up the bat signal, and he's there to help. He's there to help us, and we really appreciate it, Craig. We really do.
Thanks, guys.
Since you came on board, the show has turned around with our new format, and everything has been really great, and we all really appreciate it.
As long as I hit record. Yeah.
John, sounds like we want to borrow money from him. Craig, you're the best. I love you so much. You got a couple of bucks?
All right. So I just want to tell everybody you can see us on our website. We have all past shows. We have present shows. And we have now a podcast. So you can take us with you to the beach. You can take us anywhere you want. And I'm sure your kids and your grandkids will go on and see Lanes while you can.
Yes.
And anyway, you can see us all on www.thebbbbradio.com. Everything
That's
is
right.
there.
And go to YouTube. Listen to what I'm telling you. Go to YouTube. Watch the show. Like the show. Subscribe to the show. Let me tell you something. I know who you are, and if you don't subscribe to the show, I'm coming to visit you.
What do they got to click? They got to click something.
They got to click the little bell. It's a bell, right? What is it? It's a bell. You click the bell. If you're not smart enough to figure out how to click the bell, click your own fucking foot. No, click the bell.
Okay, so the bell is important, people. If you click the bell, it means you subscribed, and then every time there's a new show, you will get a notification.
Yeah.
Or
and if you click, I get a tranquilizer. Every time you click, I get a tranquilizer. So click the bell.
And Joe, you were saying before you were rudely cut off?
Before
You can follow us on
Sorry, Joe. I
Instagram.
didn't mean to cut you off.
That's all right. Man. It's like looking into a mirror.
It's like that side of the screen is like an ink blot.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the stabbiest of them all?
So where are they going to see us, Joe Silkie?
Yeah, where we're going, Joe.
You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter.
Twitter, which is BBB Radio Podcast at Twitter. Talk to us.
That's right. Give us some feedback, for God's sake. Let
Really?
us know what you think. 1,500 of you. Don't make me cut you off.
Tell us how much you hate the company.
Don't make me come back there, you sons of bitches.
Oh, and we got a trick for the road, right?
That's right.
There we go. Trick for the road, a word from our sponsor.
Peace.
All right, guys. We'll see you all next week.
Take care.
Tune in next week to more Bitchin Baby Boomers.